At an age when most people have found stability in career and family, I hit rock bottom. At 50 years old, within just 6 months, I lost everything: my job, my savings, and the person I thought would stay by my side for life. But from the darkest place I've ever known, I found a kind of light I had never seen before. I didn't just start over. I finally learned what it means to truly live. I used to be an average man. Nothing special, but responsible. I worked in sales for over 2 decades. It wasn't a passion, but it paid well enough. Gave me a house, a car, and 2 vacations a year. I thought that was enough. Then one Tuesday morning, in a cold meeting room with a stale cup of coffee and a faded mission statement on the wall, my boss told me, "Budget cuts. We're sorry." They said, "It's nothing personal." But when something's been your whole life for 20 years and it's taken from you, it feels very personal. I drove home but didn't go inside. I just sat in my car for hours. I knew what waited behind the door: a wife who had grown distant, and bills I had no idea how to pay. The fight started soon after. Arguments about money, broken plans, and fears we never had to face before because life had always been comfortable. And then one morning, she left. Quietly. She packed a suitcase while I pretended to sleep. She left a note that said simply, "I can't do this anymore." I moved into my brother's spare room. 50 years old. 2 boxes of clothes. A cracked phone. And an empty head. I disconnected from the world. I stopped calling people. Stopped answering texts. I felt like a failure, not just in work, but as a man. Some days, I didn't shower. Some nights, I didn't sleep. I drank too much. Watched shows I didn't care about. I thought about disappearing quietly more than once. Then one afternoon, I found a small note tucked inside an old book I had lent my niece. It said, "My uncle is the kindest person I know. He always makes me laugh when I'm sad." One simple sentence, yet it broke me open. I had forgotten that version of myself, but she hadn't. Maybe those parts of me weren't gone, just buried. The next morning, I got up early, brushed my teeth, took a walk around the block. Just 10 minutes. But it was the first step. The next day, I made a list. Day 1, take a walk. Day 2, apply for a job, any job. Day 3, call an old friend. I cleaned out my brother's garage. I volunteered at a local soup kitchen. Then I got hired at a grocery store, minimum wage, graveyard shift. But for the first time in months, I felt useful again. I started writing in a journal every morning. Not poetry, not philosophy, just real feelings: anger, confusion, gratitude. I read books again, slept better, stopped blaming myself, and I realized something no one ever told me. When you lose everything, you finally get to meet who you really are. Not the title, not the paycheck, not the you people expect, but the real you. And sometimes, that person is someone worth knowing. 2 years later, I moved into a small apartment of my own. 1 bedroom, secondhand furniture, and an old, grumpy cat named Oscar. My days became simple: work, read, cook, drink coffee slowly. Some might call that boring. To me, it's freedom. I no longer live to impress anyone. I've learned how to be alone without feeling lonely. So if you've lost something, your job, your partner, your hope, please believe me, the pain is real, but you can survive it. Not overnight, not without scars, but you can rebuild. And what you rebuild may be smaller, quieter, simpler, but it will be yours. And that makes all the difference. Today, I'm 56. I freelance write for small blogs. I walk to the library every Thursday. I cook my own meals. I take my time. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm at peace with starting over. And sometimes starting over is where the real story begins.